How are you guys doing out there? Bringing another live from Los Angeles. Hope you're all doing good out there. Today's video is going to be about UFC and the UFC fights that are going to be coming up this Saturday, October the 17th, with the preliminaries starting at 1 p.m. Pacific time and the main card starting at 4 p.m. So, guys, I wanted to just go over this card. I'll likely do another video talking a little bit more about it prior to the fight starting. As I do a little bit more research on these fighters, there's a good amount of new fighters that the UFC has put into their rankings and is having people pretty much fight here. So um, it's going to be a good card. Well, the main event is certainly going to be good. It's going to be Brian Ortega against Korean Zombie. So that's going to be the featherweight main event for Saturday's card. And then the co-main event is going to be Caitlin Chukagian against Jessica Andrade, which is a fight I personally don't want to see. But hey, it's probably a fun one for those who do want to see it. But it's the main event that I'm looking forward to because Brian Ortega is a beast and I want to see him fight. And Korean Zombie is also a beast and I want to see him fight. So, there's a couple other good names on this card. It looks like I don't know if this is Khabib's cousin or Habib's cousin. I like to call Khabib, not Habib. I know there's a lot of people that call him Habib, but I don't know. I'm just gonna keep it Khabib because that's just what I like personally. But um, so the start of the prelim card is actually Saeed Nurmagomedov. I'm not sure if that's Khabib's cousin or not, but it's certainly a Nurmagomedov. So it probably is his cousin that's gonna be fighting a against another guy, Mark Striegel, in the bantamweight division. So the bantamweight right now is actually pretty heated. I did a previous UFC video talking about the current bantamweight champion Petrian. That's likely gonna be fighting Aljamain Sterling for the belt, considering Corey Sandhagen was able to beat Marlon Moraes. So, but yeah, I talked about that in the previous video, guys, if you want to check it out. But, um, coming back to this card that's going to be on Saturday, um, it looks like the only fighters I really know here is probably the last two fights. I know all four of those fighters, and I know Khabib's cousin, Saeed, I guess, and I've heard a couple of these other names as well. But a good majority of these fighters here are all new, or it's either their second time fighting in the UFC, so either or. But I wanted to talk about the main event, of course. Brian Ortega has been on everybody's watch list ever since he came into the UFC and started dominating his opponents in spectacular fashion. Like the way he just knocked out Frankie Edgar with that uppercut. I was like, wow, man, that is one vicious, KO, right? Brian Ortega is versatile. He's got it all. He can do it all. And I can't remember who he last lost to, but I know it was a big name, and I know it was a really tough guy. But um, I can't remember. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up his Wikipedia right now. So, oh yeah, he lost to Max Holloway, of course. So yeah, I mean, Max is obviously a stud. I mean, there's not many people that can beat Max, and there's a lot of people that Max can obviously beat. So, Brian Ortega is definitely gonna have his hands full this week and against Korean Zombie. The Korean Zombie is also a very good fighter. He's had some ups and downs, but every time the Korean Zombie comes to put on a show, he does just that. He puts on a show, and everybody tells themselves that, hey, I can't wait to see this guy fight the next time. So here we are. We see the Korean Zombie fighting this Saturday against Brian Ortega. I am not exactly sure who's gonna win. It can go either way, just like the Corey Sandhagen and Marlon Moraes fight did. Though I did think that I had a big favor in choosing in that fight even though I got it wrong. So, I do want to go ahead and make a prediction for this one. Although I may have to reanalyze it and mention it again prior to the fight on the fight day. So, but right now when I look at it, look, guys. Um, let's see. Korean Zombie is 33 years old, and Brian Ortega, I believe, is much younger. Is 29 years old, and I come to ask myself, who's hungrier? And I think the answer is Brian Ortega. I think it was actually Brian's hunger that um, put him in the position to be able to fight all these big names, and beat them in the way that he did, whether it was a KO, TKO, submission. Brian Ortega has it all. So, guys, he lost to Max Holloway, but that's Max Holloway. We all know Max Holloway. He's not someone that's easy to beat. So, Max did end up losing to Alexander Volkanovski. I thought that Max did lose to Alexander Volkanovski the first time, but the second time I thought that was personally a robbery. I thought that Max won the second time, but I don't know. I'm not exactly sure who Volkanovski is going to be fighting next, but um, the fact that Brian Ortega lost to Max Holloway, well, I mean, that's Max, right? So, he's obviously back. He's matched up with the Korean Zombie. And I think Korean Zombie's a stud. I think he's an excellent fighter. I think he has what it takes to beat Brian Ortega. But I feel like, based on the specifications of these fighters and, how each fighter has fought, I think Brian has more of an advantage in terms of his, I don't want to say his skills, but his fight style to beat Korean Zombie, because I view Korean Zombie as a striker, but Brian Ortega can, grapple you. He can, he can get inside, get in the paint, as they say in basketball, and get close to you and grapple you and put you on the ground and submit you. So that's definitely one big advantage I think Brian Ortega is gonna have against over Korean Zombie. But Korean Zombie has all the skills in terms of striking to put Brian Ortega away. So Brian Ortega did take a big beating from Max Holloway whenever they stopped the fight. So if you guys actually go back right now, and if you go to the UFC channel and you look at the fight highlights, you'll see that they're actually showing at one point where Brian Ortega was really hurt against Max Holloway, and then the ref is going like this as in the fight is over, simply because Brian Ortega had taken so much damage. So I'm sure he's gonna come back, much stronger from this. I'm personally leaning more towards Brian Ortega winning again. Because firstly because of hunger, and secondly also because of his fighting style. But I'm not saying that the Korean Zombie can't get it done. So I mean this division is stacked, guys. So it's gonna be an excellent Saturday main event between the featherweights. So be sure to tune in, guys. And it looks like Korean Zombie was able to also beat Frankie Edgar. So they both have wins over Frankie Edgar. Actually, they both last beat Frankie Edgar. So yeah, I mean, Brian Ortega beat Frank Edgar prior to losing to Max Holloway, and Korean Zombie right now is on a 2-fight winning streak with his last one against Frankie Edgar. So we'll have to see how they do against each other Saturday night. So anything is possible. So be sure to check it out, guys. Dana White would always go like, Paulo Costa, Israel Adesanya is gonna be an excellent fight. Check this out, guys. I'm telling you that Brian Ortega and Korean Zombie is gonna be an excellent fight. There was always a good chance that Paulo Costa wouldn't go forward, just like Dana White wanted against Israel Adesanya. But I tell you this, guys. Dana White should have been saying what he said about the Costa and Adesanya fight about this fight, because guys, this fight is gonna be a war. This fight on Saturday is gonna be, a finish. I don't think it's gonna go to decision. I believe it's a 5 round. I believe it's a five. It's gonna be a 5 round war, and I think Korean Zombie is gonna bring it, and I think Brian Ortega is gonna press forward. So we'll see what happens, but guys, let me know what you guys think about this fight. And then I just quickly covered the co-main event. Caitlin Chukagian against Jessica Andrade. I got Caitlin Chukagian winning, but I mean, I don't really know, either of the fighters very much. I know Caitlin is like ranked 2 or 3, and I know Jessica, I guess, is a little bit lower, but I think the last fight I saw Caitlyn go against was, I think it was against the Shevchenko. I forget which one. Oh yeah, it was Valentina Shevchenko. Caitlyn Chukagian lost the belt to, but I guess Caitlyn was able to beat her sister. I forget her sister's name, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Valentina Shevchenko's sister. So Caitlyn was able to get that victory over her, but did lose the title shot against Valentina. So we'll see how she fares with Jessica Andrade this Saturday. And then the third fight is gonna be a light heavyweight fight. And guys, I love light heavyweight. Light heavyweight fights are the fights that are of my favorite division, because I feel like heavyweights are a little bit slow depending on who's fighting, of course. I'm not talking about like the top 3 guys like Stipe or Francis, but I'm talking about like the guys that are like ranked from like 6 and below. They're a little bit slow, but whenever you guys want to see like some big knockouts, like big probable, fun factors when you see a fight, light heavyweight is always, the spotlight. I mean, look what John Jones has done, and look how fun that division has been ever since John Jones had been there. Or when, Lyoto Machida was there, at one point on a winning streak in his own thing. Or when there was Shogun Rua, all those old faces that would put on a show in the light heavyweight division. So it looks like we have a light heavyweight fight. As the third fight, the third to last fight, it's gonna be Jimmy Crute against Modestas Bukauskas, and Jimmy Crute is 11-1 right now, whereas Modestas Bukauskas is 11-2. So that's definitely gonna be a good fight. I don't really know how each of those fighters fights really in terms of their style, and I don't know how hungry each is since I haven't really followed them, obviously. But I think Jimmy Crute won his last fight, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go ahead and confirm that really quickly. But guys, yeah, make sure to tune in. And wow, this guy's just 24 years old. And yes, Jimmy Crute did beat his last opponent against some other guy, Michael Oleg. Yeah, I'm not even gonna pronounce that last name, but if you guys look it up on Wikipedia, you'll be able to see it. But yeah, this is definitely a young guy. He's 24 years old. He's 6-2, so it's definitely the light heavyweight. He's got the light heavyweight reach and height. So I think that that'll also be a good fight to watch, guys. So be sure to tune in for that one as well. And then I just want to see if there's anything else I want to review in this video. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know who you guys think is gonna win between Brian or Korean Zombie. Right now, I'm leaning towards Brian. But I mean, Korean Zombie can land a nice punch and, put him away. So, I mean, Korean Zombie has fought big names, guys. I'm not saying Brian Ortega hasn't. I mean, Brian Ortega has fought Max Holloway. Jeez, So Frankie Edgar, Cub Swanson, Cub Swanson always likes to bring a war. Clay Guida, and he's fought a lot of other big names out there. So comparing that to Korean Zombie's fought Yair Rodriguez, who's also a stud, though he's lost to. He's beat Dennis Bermudez. He's beaten Frankie Edgar. He's beaten Renato Moisiano. So Korean Zombie had some time off, it looks like, but he's coming back to take this fight against Brian Ortega. He's obviously fresh, and Korean Zombie always puts on a fight. So, guys, Saturday main event, I'm gonna be tuning in. So I hope you guys are as well. So do it, guys. You won't regret it. It's seriously gonna be a fun fight. Um, and then I guess that's quite much it for now. But just to quickly look at the UFC rankings roster, UFC rankings. Let's see who's below like Brian Ortega and Korean Zombie in their division. So let's actually see where these guys stand right now. Let's see here. I'm gonna find it this way. Okay, so here we go. So Brian Ortega right now is number 2, and it looks like Korean Zombie is number 4. So yeah, it looks like those two are fighting, and seeing Zabit as number 3, I would love to see Zabit and Max Holloway fight. But then again, Alexander Volkanovski is gonna have to fight someone as well. But hey, Henry Cejudo saying he's coming out of retirement to fight Alexander Volkanovski. So that's something Dana White just might book, and just jump Cejudo to the main event fight, the champ in the featherweight division, Alexander Volkanovski. So we'll see how they played out. But I'll do another video regarding this event on Saturday, on like either Saturday morning or Friday morning, and see if there's any changes as well. There's always last second dropouts, so we'll see what happens. But as of right now, in my opinion, I think Brian Ortega is hungrier, and I think his style is better matched up against Korean Zombie. But Korean Zombie is coming. And this is also important, as Korean Zombie is coming out of a big resting period, whereas Brian Ortega had been in the war prior, to this resting period he got. So keep that in mind as well, guys. But up until Saturday, guys, I'll likely do another video on this, and do a little bit more of an in-depth analysis as to which fighter I believe is going to win and why. And I'm also going to be talking about their physical statistics as well, in terms of their reach and their height. So be safe out there, guys. Be well. Drop some comments. Let me know who you guys is going to win between Brian Ortega and Korean Zombie, and who you guys are also gonna get in the co-main event between Jessica Andrade and Caitlin Chukagian. And there's also a lot of new faces, so be sure to also watch the prelims. Nonetheless, guys, we're living in some wicked times, so take care of yourselves. Be safe out there. Drop some comments. Share this video. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later, guys. Peace.